What's good, Panther Nation? It's your boy Myron McRae, aka Tornado McRae, across the skies of the internet, here with another episode of Panther Pride TV, your one-stop shop for all your Panther notifications and your Panther obligations. And I really hope y'all are having a great Thursday, man. Work week's almost up, school's out, man. It's time to get the summer cracking, and you know what? June's around the corner, so you know that means sundresses is out, the guns are out. Everybody going to the beach. Everybody having a good time. It's a lovely time to be alive. And you know what? Y'all are blessed to be here. But guys, we are going to get into today's docket. Not a whole lot going on. Well, actually, there's a few things going on that I saw across my feed. And I want to share them with y'all just because I love sharing everything and anything Carolina Panthers related with you, my family, my loved ones, mi amor. So, first thing I do want to talk about is Bryce Young has come out and saying that he is actually stoked about building on top of this year's offense, especially the progress that they had last year. And I love to hear that from Bryce. I honestly think it is great to hear him. And he was talking about the new wrinkles and the new nuances. So in yesterday's press conference, later in the afternoon, this came out and it was on Panthers website. So y'all can go ahead and find that if you want. But here's what Bryce had to say. In terms of the continuity and building on that heading into 2025, Bryce says, I think it's just being able to build off the foundation we laid last year. Around this time last year, obviously it's a new system, new offense. So we're getting the basics. We're ironing out the day one first stuff and just the basics of the offense. And now, me too, we get to start so much further ahead. A lot of returning guys, a lot of familiar faces, and also that's a lot of kudos to the guys coming in, the free agents, the rookies that are coming in. Let's start at a master's level. Let's make sure we're more advanced. And for them, this is their first time in the system. And you wouldn't be able to tell by a lot of guys. And that speaks to their hard work. And it's exciting to see us start more ahead this year. And then Bryce would go on to follow that up later in the presser interview. And he would say this, just to follow it up. Oh, where'd it go? Wait. Hold up. There it is. Okay, it did transition. I don't know why. Forgive me, guys. But he said it's been great, again, just being able to start at a higher level. Focus on growth rather than learning. Focus on knowing what's expected, knowing exactly the things that you know you've done well and you had to continue to do well, things to improve on. As I felt more and more comfortable throughout last year and then going into year 2 in the system, and then we continue to build our relationship and grow and have more of those shared thoughts within the entire offensive staff. It's definitely something I'm grateful for. We all have that same goal for us. We just want to win. Obviously, offensively, we want to score points. And then as a team, we want to do whatever it takes to win. That is the exact stuff I want to hear from my QB1. But truth be told, I'm honestly excited for Bryce and being able to come into continuity heading into his second year because, well, yeah, technically it'll be year 2 in this offense, but his third year in the league. And what I mean by that is we all know he had year 1, which was god awful in the sense of there was just no continuity, no structure, no basis. Then last year you get Coach Canales coming in, and we all should have expected, or at least most of us, I'm pretty sure, anticipated that there would still be growing pains because you're throwing a year 2 quarterback who just had a tumultuous year 1, and that head coach got fired, and that offensive coordinator essentially got the boot, to bringing in Canales and a new system and a whole new plethora of things that he's got to learn. So, yeah, he's going to go through those growing pains, and we saw some of the fruits of their labor towards the end of last year. But now going into this year, they can just build off of that. There's no, we have to build a whole new system, or we have to figure stuff out. We have to take it day by day. They know the calls. They know what they did well. They know what doesn't work well. They know what works well for Bryce. They know what works well for the O-line. They know what most of the receivers like to do. And you're just incorporating slightly new pieces such as Ted McMillan, Jimmy Horn, Hunter Renfrow, Rico Dowdle, Trevor Etienne. But the O-line, everybody's back. Leggett, Coker, Thielen, Jatavian Sanders, Chuba Hubbard, they're coming back. So you're bringing in the main core pieces that know what's going on. And even for the backers like Andy Dalton, most of the offense already has chemistry, has already meshed. So now all you're doing is putting in the new pieces to make them fit what we already do well. I think that's phenomenal. I'm happy to see Bryce smiling. And when Bryce is smiling and having fun and just excited, good things tend to happen. Honestly speaking, if you've ever seen him play, if you've ever watched him even in college, when he's smiling, enjoying himself, feels everything is coming natural, even as we saw last year, man's doing no-look touchdown passes. When he's confident, good things happen. So I am really happy to hear him say that and feel that Bill going into year 2 has a whole lot more confidence and continuity going into it. Next, do want to talk about some of these trades that have been coming up over the years, but in a little different context. So Bleacher Report has revealed their worst trades for every team in the NFL over the last 10 years. Luckily, it's only the last 10 years, so it's not that hard to follow, but I thought it was kind of interesting. The report has been released by Kevin Knox of Bleacher Report, and he listed off every team's worst trade that they made over the last 10 years. And for Carolina, here's what he had to say. To him, Carolina's worst trade over the last 10 years, I know you see 3 on the screen, but Carolina's worst trade to him was Carolina trading up 10 spots for Greg Little in the 2019 draft. So if we all remember, Carolina gave up their second round. Carolina gave up their second round pick and their third round pick to trade up in the second round to get Greg Little because they didn't feel like they would get the tackle. Unfortunately, Greg Little had injuries and then only played a total of 14 games before being traded away to the Miami Dolphins or being traded away. And then like his last season was in 2022 with the Miami Dolphins. So that's how that's been going. And the reason why there are 2 other trades on there is because these are the trades I feel like have been the worst trades. Honestly speaking, like, yes, I will put the Greg Little trade up there, but I have to include these other 2 guys. One, the trading Dante Jackson for Deontay Johnson last year. That was stupid. I'm sorry. That was stupid, bro. Like, we ended up trading away Deontay Johnson by October, whereas Dante Jackson went on to go have his second best year of his career. And we needed the secondary help. So I thought that was just flat out dumb. I don't get why we did it. I know people were looking like, hey, we need a receiver help. That was not the answer. And Dante Jackson was one of our better corners. So I'm just like, what? He was one of our better DBs, so why would we do that? I didn't make sense. And then lastly, I think this is actually the worst trade that we've done in the last 10 years, truth be told. Trading up 43 spots in one whole round, going from the 4th to the 3rd round to get Matt Corral in the 2022 draft. Because we gave up our 4th round pick to move into the 3rd round, and we also gave up our 3rd round pick the next season. And the bad part is, Matt never played a game for Carolina. Granted, yes, the man ended up on IR. I do remember that. I remember he went on IR within his rookie year because I want to say it was a Liz Frank foot injury. And then we waived him by August of the next year. So it's like we gave all that up. And even when we drafted Matt Corral, I was like, why? That didn't make sense to me. It didn't make sense as to why we did that. The fact that he went on IR, I was like, okay, just let's see. If we spent all of this money or spent all these assets to go get Matt Corral, let's at least let him come back for injury to see what he's doing. But then we went in 2023 and drafted Bryce. So I guess they were just like, you know what? Toss Matt Corral. We ain't even trying that anymore. And I was just like, what is going on? Why would we make this trade? Why would we do that? I personally think that is the worst trade we've done in the last 10 years because we didn't really get any assets out of it. We didn't have to jump that high if we were going after Matt Corral. And the fact that he ain't even play a game for us, at least Hardy and Deontay Johnson played games for Carolina. Matt Corral never had an official snap, like in an official game with Carolina, for us to make that type of trade. So that's just me. Y'all let me know what y'all thought the worst trade was in the last 10 years. That's just me going forward. And then lastly, guys, the tush push has been a huge topic going into the NFL. We all know about it. And our former tight end, Greg Olsen, has spoken out on the tush push and the vote that just transpired. So Greg was on the Colin Cowherd show, and he was giving his take on exactly how he feels with the tush push and where the direction it should go and things like that. Greg says, I think it would be extremely unfair and wrong to Philadelphia, who has really, some teams have done it here and there, but no one has come even remotely close to doing it as efficiently and as often and uses it in such a fabric of their offensive philosophy. From how they manage third downs, known they have a yard and a half in their back pocket, how they call first and second down plays, knowing they have a fourth down in their back pocket, goal-to-goal situations. It is not just a play. It's a centerpiece of the entire fabric philosophy that Sirianni has built. I think to remove that from a team that has found a play that they're uniquely good at just because the rest of the league is tired of trying to find a way to defend it, I don't agree with. Now, with all that being said, and here's another tip. Coach Canales, here's another tip. All right. With all that being said, I agree. I firmly agree. I was really sad that with the tush push, so for those of you who don't know, the tush push vote was 22-10. They needed 24 votes to ban the tush push. They had 22-10, and Carolina was one of the 22. And what's crazy is Coach Canales has even said, like, data doesn't support the idea that it's a dangerous play, and he didn't even want to take it away from the Eagles, even though they've mastered it. I don't care if the Eagles are great at the tush push. I don't. Honestly, I think to me, it's just a quarterback sneak. They're just really good at it. And you're trying to ban a play because they're really good at it. You see what I'm saying? That makes no sense. If, for example, Carolina, I'll talk to us. When Cam Newton was in his prime, 4th and 1, what was our play? A quarterback draw with Cam Newton. Cam Newton at 6'5", 6'6". You literally, it was a quarterback draw every time. We all knew it was coming. Nobody could stop it. But nobody tried to ban the quarterback draw for Cam Newton. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's just a play that they're good at. I'm not mad at that. Now, I will say, you can't get mad at teams trying to stack the defensive line, trying to stop it. I think the NFL needs to change that and allow defenses to do that, whether it's like jump over the center or stuff like that to stop it. Because I remember it was against the Eagles where it might have been in the Super Bowl. It may have been in the Super Bowl when they were just trying to time the snap and jump over the center, and they almost got a penalty and almost had points given up because they were doing it on the 1-yard line. I'm like, you can't penalize a defense for trying to do that. But I'm not going to penalize Philadelphia for perfecting a quarterback sneak. That's all that is, bro. And for those who say from a safety issue, that's where I go into the NFL, is that they have to revoke the whole policy that jumping over the line from the defensive standpoint is a safety issue. They have to remove that. If you're going to allow the tush push, you got to allow defenses a chance to defend it. But to ban the tush push entirely because y'all can't stop it, I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of it. If you have a great play that you can execute, cool. We don't see teams taking away the RPO because Lamar Jackson perfected it. We didn't see teams trying to take away like halfback powers back when the Dallas Cowboys had a great front line for their running backs. Like, we didn't see that. You didn't see teams trying to say you can't throw the deep ball anymore because literally Tom Brady and them could just throw up the ball to Randy Moss because it's just like, hey, yo, Randy Moss over the top, you got to stop it one way or the other. Or the goal line fade. You didn't stop the goal line fade for Calvin Johnson in Detroit because you knew what was going to happen. You see what I'm saying? Every team has a staple in their offense. Every team has a staple that works for them that they know they can go to. And for the Eagles, it is the tush push. For us, when Cam was our quarterback, it was the quarterback draw on 4th and 1. If that's their go-to, that's their go-to. Shoot, Seattle, if they had done it in the Super Bowl, it was Marshawn Lynch. 4th and 1, yeah, give the ball to Marshawn and get the hell out the way. So, honestly, I think a lot more people are kind of like me, and I think a lot of y'all are too, where you're not trying to ban the tush push. You're more so just like, all right, NFL, you got to take away some of the rules you have against the defense in order for them to combat the tush push. That's where we need to go. I genuinely think that's the direction the NFL needs to go and remove some of the penalties or quote-unquote illegal stuff that defenses can do. This way to give them a fair chance in order to defend against the tush push. Because, yes, the Eagles have perfected it. Now you have to give defenses more leeway on how to stop it. That's just my thought process. But, guys, that's it for today's video. If you have any thought, please make sure to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell at the bottom so you're always reminded of when these videos get dropped. Let me know, what are your thoughts on Bryce's excitement heading into the offseason, heading into the new year, being able to build on the offense? What y'all think about that? What do you think is the worst trade Carolina has done in the last 10 years? And lastly, how do you feel about the tush push and everything in between? Do you think it's fair that the tush push was not banned? Do you think it should be banned? Or are you like me, you think the NFL should really open up the playbook for defenses to be able to stop it? Let me know all that and below. And also, don't forget, comment your birthdays, and I will be starting to shout out happy birthday to all of you because I love all of you, Panther Nation. I really do. And I want to make sure y'all get y'all praise and y'all love on this channel too, because this is just as much my channel as it is your channel. But I say all that, guys, to say at the end of the day, what do I know? I'm just a skinny brother with 2 tats. Peace. Much love to all you, Panther Nation. Take care. Later days. And as always, keep pounding. I'll see you next time.